Hello, in this video. Today we're going to take a look at a little bit of a different video. Today we are not going to use any legendary Pokemon in the Open Master League. Why? Because currently we only have the Master League available as well as the Fossil Cup being an RPS Cup, being only from like 3 different types and basically having the same Pokemon all over again. I kind of want to take a look at here if you can actually compete in the Open Master League without using any legendary Pokemon. And so that is the topic of today's video. We want to take a look at what kind of Pokemon you can use, what kind of Pokemon you cannot use, and why it might be the most difficult time currently for not running legendary Pokemon, so having a team just based on Pokemon that are non-legendary, because yeah, things changed. The meta changed, a lot of things changed in the meta, and we're going to take a look at this one today. While we're going to have some gameplay here as well, we're going to have a team of the Shadow Dragonite. They're only built for this kind of cup. I kind of want to take a look at this Pokemon as well. It is actually lower ranked than the normal Dragonite, which is interesting to note, as normal Dragonite has a little bit more bulk, and honestly, I feel like Shadow Dragonite is a bit of a waste, I have to say. Like, yeah, I played now for a bit. I played, by the way, this team for 3 sets. What do you see here on the screen are the best games of those 3 sets. So a lot of very clear losses are cut out. I am honest about this. I don't need to fool anybody here in today's video. But what I have to say is, well, a lot of the losses that I had are very close. And you're going to see a lot of them as well here today. So yeah, why is it the worst possible time kinda to run no legendary teams? It is just kind of, since the recent release of Necrozma, it is quite tough, I have to say. Speaking of Necrozma, we're going to see it here already, and our team is kind of designed to try to counter it. There were different kind of teams that you could have run with like no legendary Pokemon. The most obvious one is the one that was working at least for a longer period of time, which was Dragonite, the Say-Swap of the Excadrill as well as the Metagross in the back. If you think about it, in nowadays meta, it is quite tough. Metagross really lost its play. I feel like Metagross is currently not a good Pokemon to run, I have to say. Main reason for this, like basically Zygarde is everywhere, which is already a Pokemon that you are not going to be able to beat, as Earthquake as well as Crunch is going to be super effective. But also, especially the Necrozma Dusk main form, Dawn Wings of course as well, like both of them, but the Dusk main form is just like such a hard matchup for you. Like you resist, like your fast moves resisted, your main short move is resisted, while they do super effective damage with their fast move, and also a lot of times super effective damage with a charge move of Dark Pulse. It is quite ridiculous. Here, by the way, look at this. We are able to tank all of those moves from the Necrozma from the opponent, though, with our Snorlax. Snorlax definitely one of the best non-legendary answers for the Necrozmas right now, but it's still not an ideal Pokemon to use either, just because of the stats, to be fair. Like, the stats are kind of a little bit too far off right now. But yeah, generally speaking, the meta shifted more towards like the new Necrozma forms. And the new Necrozma forms are both quite strong and quite overpowered. We had the recent release as well, which is actually still not even that far away. I think it's like it's actually half a year ago now. Where we had the Palkia and the Dialga released in the new forms, which made it a little bit more difficult to introduce other Pokemon like Dragonite into it, for example. Like, they're just better Dragon type Pokemon. And so basically, what is the issue right now with Master League? It's just like way too many very good legendary Pokemon that have like their own unique role, where they're just better than others. Like, honestly, with all the recent legacy moves added, like Sensei Storm on the Landorus, things like this, it just made the gap between non-legendary Pokemon and legendary Pokemon even further. What you see as well, you might see a lot more non-legendary Pokemon in today's gameplay as well from the opponents, because my rating tanked with it. Like, this rating that I had here, I think I started like 2,600. I actually can check real quick where I'm ended up right now. I ended up at 2,327. Which kind of showcases on how difficult it is currently to run a non-legendary team in the Open Master League again. There would have been other options as well. For example, Mamoswine might be a decent shout. I saw also a team of like Mamoswine, Gyarados, as well as the Dragonite, which maybe would have been better than this team. Who knows? I cannot tell you. But I doubt, honestly, they would have been better, because again, if you think about the team that I just talked about, I feel like it's quite weak against the Necrozma form with the Dusk main variant of it. So, I know, it is very difficult right now. But I would like to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Like, what do you think about the current Master League situation? Do you think it is too tough to currently play with non-legendary Pokemon? Do you think it is like a little bit too unfair? Like, I feel like for me right now, from playing it before, I did like similar videos before where I was taking a look at it, and a lot of times it was quite possible to play around and like have some fun with non-legendary Pokemon. I feel like right now it is very, very tough. It might be that I just didn't find the correct team. I could try another team if you want me to. Let's say if we're gonna hit 500 likes on this video, I'm gonna take a look at another non-legendary team and see if it's going to be better. I'm maybe going to at least have 2 different ones in there. There are some other ideas that I have here as well that could maybe work, but again, like, it depends on if you want to see another video like this. If you want, then feel free to leave a like. But anyway, we're going to see here the Brave Bird coming through from the opponent. We can talk a little bit more about the gameplay now as well. The opponent is going to have a Torkoise in the back, so Rhyperior might be kind of nice here, but also Rhyperior takes a lot of damage from the opponent. The opponent actually only had, I think, like 1 legendary Pokemon here, which is quite rare. Rockbreaker coming through, gonna get shielded. If I went for the bait, I would have been able to outspeed them, so maybe this would have been a play where I could have played a little bit better maybe. But I can go for another Rock Breaker here. The opponent is going to be able to let the move go through, is going to be able to knock them out, and they're going to have the Garchomp in the back. If I went for one more fast move, I would have won as well. So like, this was definitely a winnable battle, but it is what it is. I didn't really play it well, so good game there to the opponent. They're going to be able to farm me down with that Ho-Oh, but yeah, we're going to see here, Ho-Oh going to be fine against me. If it comes to Pokemon that I think maybe has some potential in the future, if Niantic decides to kind of tackle the issue right now, there are actually quite a few that I think have a lot of potential. Like, main of them, of course, going to be Ursaluna. Ursaluna, if you're gonna give it a better fast move, it would be one of the best Pokemon in the Master League. We have Garchomp, which actually CP-wise is up there, like literally up there, just needs a better cheap charge move like Breaking Swipe, for example. I still kind of want to see Dragon Rush being a move in the game as well. Tyranitar, maybe if like Smackdown gets buffed, which I don't hope because, yeah, Smackdown also is on Bastiodon. That would be an option for it. I don't see really how you can buff the... I mean, actually, you can buff the Metagross with Psychic Fangs, which would help out a little bit. So I would actually hope that Niantic is going to target this problem a little bit and make it a bit fairer for us to play this meta if you don't have that many legendary Pokemon. So like, there are a lot of Pokemon actually that have a potential, even Salamence. If you're gonna give like Salamence Breaking Swipe or like a new charge or fast move, it might help out quite a bit with that as well. Hydreigon, a Pokemon that I also could see having a lot of potential in the future, just needs like a bit better charge move set as well. Like, only having like 1 decent charge move is not enough. Yeah, otherwise there are not really a lot more. Golden Go, if it has a better fast move, would be cool. Or like the signature move, as I think that, I don't know actually, is it as gold or something it's called? I don't know. I think this would be an option. But other than this, I don't know, there are not really a lot of other Pokemon that have potential in the future maybe. They're just like those pseudo-legendary Pokemon that have really potential. And I feel like the gap between legendaries is quite vast. Like, this is the thing as well, like, yes, you're going to have successful teams where you have like 1 or 2 non-legendary Pokemon, but I feel like having a team of 3 is definitely a big disadvantage right now. So talking a little bit more about the gameplay here, we're going to have the Palkia against our Dragonite in the lead. This is going to be a matchup that is actually quite decent for the Dragonite. You would be able to, I think, sometimes win this, depends on, I think the opponent got like a breakpoint there because I think they're like best buddied or something. But there were definitely matchups against Palkia where I was able to win the matchup with my Dragonite, which is kind of interesting. But here we're gonna see the opponent having to take the body slam. I was hoping to lick them down, but they're gonna swap out anyway into the Dialga. I was hoping that they go straight for the Iron Head here, which they do on a CMP tie, which is lovely. I'm going to call the bait there as well. It is going to be the Iron Head, and that is going to be quite good for me because now we can go for the superpower without having to worry to be like knocked down afterwards. So of course now they can farm me down, which is fine. I would have not been able to reach another move anyway. And we can go for the full farm down with my Rhyperior, and Iron Head would hurt quite a bit. And like, this is the thing as well, we actually have a lot of pressure with our non-legendary Pokemon, just we don't have the bulk for it, I feel like, anymore. We're gonna see the Necrozma coming in here. I am kind of forced to go for a bait. I have to kind of hope that the opponent gonna shield this one. They don't. Well played by the opponent. We are forced to kind of try to catch a move. Didn't work out either. They're going to have the Palkia here, and now they can go for a Dark Pulse here and for a Sunseal Strike afterwards, and I have literally nothing that can counter that. And yeah, Necrozma, especially this kind of form, is definitely dominating the current Master League, and it's just very difficult to find Pokemon that are be able to destroy those Necrozma forms in the current pool of non-legendary Pokemon. There are just not really good Dark-type Pokemon around right now. There are not really that many great Ground-type Pokemon either. Like, yes, you have Excadrill, but also Excadrill is going to be very weak against like something like a Palkia, which makes it a little bit more difficult. So it is just very tough right now to build a team that is non-legendary. Here we're gonna see the Palkia having to take a Dragon Claw there. Let's see how this is gonna go. The opponent very likely gonna use a shield here just to farm me down. Exactly, I can swap out. I will be able to now get to the body slam in time as well. Was hoping that this would knock them out as well. I feel like if I had best buddy, my Snorlax, I would have had a way better time as well today, because look at this, again, like 1 damage away from knocking them out. This would have been so much better for me. Would have had now a shield advantage, and with this we're going to have now same shields as the opponent, have a Pokemon in the back that I really don't want to face with my Rhyperior, and we are in a little bit of a tough spot now. So they can go for the Sensia Storm. It's not going to be able to two-shot me though, which is quite interesting, but I can still go for another Body Slam. This is going to be able to connect. Let's see what the opponent is going to do next. They're going to let the move go through, and I can swap onto the Dragonite, forcing them to go for this Stone Edge here in order to knock me out. But they actually decided to go for the Sensia Storm, which apparently is also still enough, and so we are in a little bit of a tricky spot. As they're going to reveal their final Pokemon, being the Necrozma, I am gonna go ahead and go for the Super Power to try to do as much damage as possible. It barely really tickled. I actually thought of changing the moveset on my Snorlax, by the way, for this team, of going for Outrage. In hindsight, I'm happy that I didn't do it, mainly also because I barely have any charge TMs. Like, charge TMs are not there for me, like I don't have any of them, and we are like approaching to a new season, so I might actually have to buy the box in the shop, which is coming up for the World Championship event, which is just kind of silly. Anyway, we're going to have the Ho-Oh here against us in the lead. That is going to be a very favorable lead for us. But at the end of the day, we're always going to have to use one shield. Dragonclaw does not do enough damage from here. And they decided to swap out into a Landorus, which I am totally happy about. Honestly, like, it could have not been better for me, because I have another great answer against the Ho-Oh in the back with the Rhyperior. Rhyperior can take any kind of hit from the Ho-Oh, which is really cool. And like this, I can just use a shield. If it's a Stone Edge, that's fine by me. It is going to be the Stone Edge, and so we can go for the full farm down against the opponent. This is going to be lovely, as we can now try to go ahead and go for a Bait move. I think Bait move is going to be the better play to go for against the opponent's Dialga. It's going to be a shield anyway coming up. And now we can go into our Snorlax. They're very likely going to try to catch a move here onto the Ho-Oh. Can we still go for 2 Body Slams to knock them out? I'm not too sure if 2 Body Slams are going to be enough. First one coming through, that looks kind of like it's in range, but let's find out here again, as the opponent is going to be able to survive with 1 HP. And this happened the entire time, and those are like those small kind of things in the game that will completely change the outcome of it. Because now the opponent can just go for the full farm down, has a ton of energy, and we have nowhere to go because an Iron Head is doing a ton of damage. And I kind of wanted to try to catch a move here because I know that they had a ton of energy, but I also die on the Dragonclaw, which a lot of times when the opponent is in the same spot, they always get it off. I didn't, and so sadly we're going to lose this battle because the opponent has now 100 energy, and they're going to be able to knock me out. So moving on to the final battle for today. Thanks everybody for watching here today. There might be actually some hope in the future for non-legendary teams for the Master League, if you would consider it hope. As Primarina gets its new community day with the Hydro Cannon. It's one of the best Charmers in the Open Master League, so you can run Togekiss plus the Primarina plus maybe the Rhyperior to counter the Steel-type Pokemon. Isn't that lovely? I don't think so, but it's still definitely something that will work out in the future. So you can actually, I think it's actually going to be a very solid team. I can't wait to try it out though. I think it's going to be a best kind of non-legendary team, which should very likely work out again. But then again, you have like the Steel-type Pokemon recently that kind of came up. It is all kind of tricky. I don't know. Like, let me know in the comment section if I should take a look again at another non-legendary team for this meta. It's definitely something that I found quite interesting. Like, here you see like the results of it anyway, but I found quite interesting to have like those small challenges to see on how you can play around like certain scenarios as well. Here, if you have like certain Pokemons, like if you don't have certain Pokemons, like in this case, all the legendary Pokemon, if you can still compete. So yeah, if you enjoyed this kind of video, feel free to leave a like. One thing as well, I hate Breaking Swipe now. Like, literally, this move is so garbage for me. Like, every single time I use it, I never get the debuff. Like, I think I used it like 5-6 times, like today in every single battle. You did not see every battle, by the way. Like, I cut out half of them because I did like, I think I actually did like 18 battles with this team. But I think I got like 1 time the debuff in like 5+ tries or something. It is madness. Like, honestly, I just don't like it. But anyway, what I do like is the matchup here. The Palkia is going to now knock me out there. I can go up to the Rock Wrecker, knock out the opponent's Necrozma. And this for the final one for today. We're going to have a great time here. Thanks all for watching. I hope I see you in the next one. Check out the video on the screen, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.